They called me ignorance on fire is what they called me. The company called me. I was doing so much, so fast, and a lot of stuff that was incorrect when I started.
Why were you so ambitious?
Because I was broke.
Ah.
Yeah, I was bringing home $2,200 a month at the time, and I was the breadwinner.
Yeah, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Right before, 3-4 years before pandemic.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So the only breadwinner, 2,200.
And how many kids at the time?
Now it
would be 3.
Yeah. And then I got pregnant.
Right.
Right. So he was the only child. So of course I'm going to give him a baby. He's the only child. And so yeah, the baby came. And I knew that I could not go back to work because I would not be able to afford daycare.
Mm-hmm. That's a trap, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. So while I was pregnant, I had sticky notes on my desk. And I wrote everybody who I owed. So I put it with the highest interest rate first. Mm-hmm. And I knew that if I was going to bring myself home, I had to pay off all my debt first. So as the money was coming in from the network marketing, I was acting like I was still broke and paying that debt off.
Smart.
So by the time my maternity leave came, I never came back to work.
Welcome to the Excellence Project. My name is Eric Worre, and today I have my friend, top earner, Natalie Graham. She's here to talk about her journey from the farm to the penthouse, how she decided to take charge of her life. She found a great network marketing company. She built an empire that is continuing to grow, and she's going to share a lot of her rise and fall, successes and failures, and how she dealt with all of it in order to be able to end up where she is today. I think you're going to get value from it. So with no further ado, let's jump right into my conversation with Natalie Graham. Natalie Graham.
Yes.
How are you?
Amazing. How are you?
I'm good. You're in from Hotlanta.
Hotlanta. Not so hot right now, but yes.
Yeah, it's starting to turn. Fall's starting to turn.
My favorite season.
Yeah, it's here in Vegas. It's going from like 100 to 80. And
still good.
And everybody's like, 80 is like cold.
Oh my gosh. We love 80. 80 is perfect.
Yeah, because you guys have a little bit more humidity over there.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is going to be fun, having a conversation with you, finding out your story and how you got to where you are. You're at the top of your company, doing well. And let's have a little bit of your origin story. Where'd you come from?
Oh, I came from a little small town in South Carolina, Hartsville, South Carolina.
That's the deep South.
It's the deep South. My grandparents actually owned a farm there. So all of the relatives, we were separated by a big oak tree. So still we call it, well,
what do you mean separated by an oak tree?
Like so there's an oak tree like in the middle of the yard, and everybody's houses are around the oak tree. Still to this day.
Still to this day.
So grandma's passed on. But my brother lives there. My favorite uncle, he's there. We still have, I think some other people are like renting out the houses but yeah, we all were raised right there together.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they were farmers?
They raised hogs and chickens. Okay. Yeah. And they used to have a mule way before I remember. But,
you don't strike me as a hog and chicken type of girl.
I am a hog and chicken type girl.
Really?
I really am. You
look too glamorous for this.
What they say, you can take the girl out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the girl. That would be me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're a country girl.
Country girl.
So were you up early in the morning?
No, I did none of the farm stuff. I did none of that stuff. That was pretty much my grandparents. But my parents worked. And so they would drop me off at the elders.
What did your parents do?
So my dad worked at a paper mill, and my mother worked for Sara Lee Hosiery until they were replaced by robots, and that was a long time ago.
Really?
Yeah.
So, so just regular, hardworking folks.
Absolutely. I was lucky to be raised by both of my parents until my father passed when I was 11. But yeah, my parents worked. We're middle class. We never wanted for anything. We weren't poor, but we definitely were not rich. But yeah.
What were your hopes and dreams when you were a little girl?
Well, watching my elders, I would get dropped off. Sometimes at my aunt and my uncle's house.
Describe your elders.
So they are like my dad's brothers and sisters.
Okay.
And so that little oak tree, that little area,
Yep.
all his sisters and everybody was there. So while they went to work, I got dropped off there, or I got off the bus there. And so being raised up, I saw, my aunt, which was an avid reader, but she also worked in houses, big houses, as a housekeeper.
Okay.
So she would go out and I would go with her. And I remember saying, I want a house like this on the lake. And this is early on. And I remember her watching soap operas. And I'm like, I want a pool guy. And I want to be sitting by the pool, just drinking martinis like all day.
Right.
When I grow up, that's the kind of life that I want to live.
So you got a little bit exposed to it.
Absolutely.
And said,
absolutely.
why not me?
Why not me? Like, this is not the life that I want. I was young, but
yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I grew up in the country too. And I realized real quick that the country wasn't going to be for me forever. It was going to be a place to visit.
Absolutely.
I get nostalgic.
Yeah. Sure.
There's a romantic side of it. But like you say, for me, if I get into the country too long, the country gets into me a little bit too much.
Absolutely.
And I was too entrepreneurial.
That part.
I needed some action.
Yes.
So I think boredom is a very, very dangerous thing.
It is.
In a small town. People get pregnant real early.
Me.
People start drinking real early.
Not me, but all of those things.
You had
a
child early?
I did. So I had my son when I was 15. And that's I always tell people that. I'm like, there's nothing to do in the country. I always say that. I was like,
the truth.
That's the
nothing
truth.
to do.
It's the truth.
You get a red cup.
That's it.
You go to a weekend place.
Yeah.
You don't want to sit around and be bored. Boredom's
right.
very dangerous.
It really is.
You got to keep your kids active.
Absolutely.
For you parents out there.
That's the truth.
Keep them in all the programs.
Every single program.
Keep them in everything there is to do, because if they're
truth.
bored, they're going to experiment.
They're going to be
everything.
not bored for at least 5 minutes, right?
Right. So what was it like being a mom at 15?
Well, I'm going to back up just a little bit.
Yeah,
so my dad, he happened to get cancer, and hospice came in. And of course, when hospice comes in, we know that people typically have 6 months or less to live. So that was my hero, like my most important person. And so when they came in and he was on his dying bed, he kept a journal.
Why was he your hero?
Oh, he taught me everything in a very small amount of time. Like I said, he passed away when I was 11. Finances, he talked about that with me, all those things. And so when they came in and I knew that he was about to pass away, he was writing in the journal. He told my mom not to open it until he passed away. Inside of that journal, when he passed away, was a page for the whole entire family, because he was like the patriarch of the family, even being the youngest of like 11 or 12. So he left a page for the family. He left a page for my brothers and I. And on my page, it says to me, remember the B's, books before boys are babies. So when I became pregnant, I was like, of course he was gone now, but I always felt like I still needed to make him proud. So I didn't even tell anybody until I was 4.5 months pregnant. And I just was remembering what he said, books before boys are babies. But I'm like, I'm not getting rid of it. So fast forward, 11 minutes before the clock struck 12, my son was born on my dad's birthday.
Really?
So I took that as a reminder. You had this baby, but still continue on with your education. And I was able to hit the dean's list and everything during that time. Yeah.
So you're a good student through the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because some people, they get embarrassed. They go get quiet. They go homeschool. They go disappear. Yeah. They go run away.
I wanted to prove people wrong.
Yeah.
I wanted to, because, that's
because I mean, that it can't be the easiest experience in high school.
Right. And it's so crazy because I've always been the type of person that was optimist. So I created a program in my school called TAPS, Teens as Parents. And with that program, they funded the childcare. They came and picked the babies up before we went to school, and they dropped them off after we got home.
Wow. And
once a week, somebody would come in that was an entrepreneur or whatever and speak with the teens or the teen moms or the ones that were pregnant about, different things.
Was there a lot?
It wasn't a whole lot, but it was enough.
Enough.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, what happened with the boy?
Oh, the boy. Well, you mean like the guy? Like my son's dad.
Yeah, the dad.
He's living his life in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was just a weekend
He's a great
fling,
guy. Yeah, that was it.
And did you have to do this all by yourself? Did he help?
Well, for me, I didn't live in his city. So I lived with my mom and it was just the two of us. And so, I had her help, of course.
Got it.
But for a year, I went off to college and I would come home every weekend. But I was like, I don't want my mom raising my son. So I didn't complete that second year of hotel and hospitality management. At the time, is what I was going for. But I was like, I'm going home. Like, this is not it. I don't want my mom raising my child. So I worked from the time that I could, to provide and to help my mom as well. So
you're a dean's list. You went to college for a bit. Now you've got a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 4, 5, 6, something like that.
When I went to college, he was actually like 3.
3, okay. So you were at 18, I guess.
Yeah, 3-ish.
Okay. So fun age.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's his name?
J-Ron.
J-Ron.
Yes.
All right.
He's also in the business with me.
Oh, nice.
Serial entrepreneur.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have any other children or just
I
J-Ron?
do. I have 4 altogether.
Okay.
I have J-Ron, who's 25. Then I have Savannah, my youngest, 7. I have Morgan, who's 17, and Madison, who is 13.
Wow.
Yeah.
So 25 to 13.
7.
25 to 7?
Yes.
How did I get 13?
Well,
you went the other way.
There is a 13-year-old. So 7, 13, 17, 25. Yeah.
7, 13, 23, 25. All right. Got it. So, so that's a busy life.
Yeah. It's quite the busy life.
You got a lot of stuff going on.
I do. But you know what? Busy is a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, busy is a good thing.
Are you together with somebody now? Or
no, I am single.
Single, and you got the 4 kids.
Yeah.
Building in Atlanta.
Absolutely.
Doing your thing.
Yes.
Traveling the world.
Yes.
Who takes care of the kids when you travel?
Oh, well, 2 of them are independent, of course,
17-year-old
and 13-year-old.
I'm just talking about
and
the
then dad.
Yeah.
Dad, yep. Her dad takes care of her when I'm away. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she goes to private school and living her best life too. She's in a lot of activities. She's like my serial athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm curious in the relationship sides of things, not to get personal you, but
I like personal.
how much of it, how much of the things not working out was you being an entrepreneur?
Majority.
Really?
Yes, because my success was intimidating. And, when you have to sacrifice, when you're trying to go to the top. So I was gone quite a bit. So, that plays a part. And then, when you have someone who maybe a little
more
bit
money.
Yeah, it kind of might hurt an ego of a male.
Yeah.
So yeah, that played a big part. And for me, I'm such a free spirit. So and I like peace and calm. So yeah.
So free spirit with peace and calm.
I'm a free spirit. Like I like to do what I want to do, but when I come home, I need peace.
Just need to chill.
Yeah.
Okay.
I told you I'm a huge introvert.
Yeah.
And I love quiet time.
So what's this conversation like for you as an introvert?
You know what? You're an introvert too. So
yeah, not so bad.
It's not so bad. It's one-on-one. So typically when it's a lot of people, it can get a little crazy.
That gets crazy for you? See, it's the opposite for me.
Oh, really? One-on-one is a little more intimidating then?
Well, I mean, it's when there's a large crowd, there's a different energy.
Yeah.
So for me, my introversion exhibits itself when I'm around people. If I get energy, then I'm good.
Yeah.
But sometimes people just take the energy.
Right.
And then my battery gets very, very low.
Yeah.
And I have to give a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And then my battery gets low. I have to go recharge.
That's me.
Like you say, the peace and quiet. I need to stare at the wall.
Yes.
I need, close the door.
All of that. Yeah.
Look up in the sky.
Yeah.
Eat. Have a journal, have a notebook or something. Eat. Yeah, right. Okay. So you drop out of college like I did after in year 2.
Mm-hmm.
And what's next for you then?
So what came next was I met a man.
Ah.
I met a man, and I was so smitten because he was just out of the military, and he had his own. So he gave me father vibes. This is marriage number one. And so I said, oh, well, when I met him, things kind of,
He seemed like a stable guy.
It was very stable. I love that he had his stuff together. And so I wound up leaving Georgia from South Carolina, and he lived in South Carolina. So he wound up selling his house and moving with me to Georgia, like maybe a month or so after. So after that, what comes next? Babies. Got married, 21 at this time. That house on the lake, I had that when I was 21. That Cadillac that I wanted, I had that at 21.
Why?
So
did he have a good job? Did you have a good job?
We were both just working.
I understand, regularly. But I mean, the house on the lake and the Cadillac at 21.
Big mistake.
Where's the money coming from?
Big mistake. That's when, right before the industry crashed.
Okay, so you were spending it before you had it.
Exactly.
Were you involved in direct sales at the time?
No, not at all.
Okay. What were you doing?
I was a veterinary technician.
Veterinary technician.
That's why I call myself the dog whisperer. Animals love me so much. Yeah, I was a veterinary technician.
So you got whatever license, however that process is.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even get a license for it. I happened to know someone.
You just worked in the veterinary office.
Yep, got to transition over to another one because of my experience. Yeah.
Got it. And your husband at the time?
He was in car sales.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're making enough money. So you had a car.
Yep.
You had the house.
Yeah.
Got the kids happening.
You had kids happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
What happens next?
Divorce. 29. When I was 29.
So 8 years later, though.
8 years later.
So 8 years of just going through the motions.
It was just bad. It was bad. I was looking for a father figure.
How long before you realized it was bad? Honestly,
I was always kind of like there, because I am, such a free spirit. But it was, I couldn't go anywhere, couldn't do anything.
He was controlling, or no?
Kind of, yeah. Not,
I don't want to talk bad about anybody.
No.
I'm just saying.
I mean, for me, whenever I divorced him or we got divorced, people said, "Oh, we got our Natalie back." That type of thing. So. He's not a bad guy. He just wasn't for me.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
So hard or easy divorce?
He said divorce.
Yeah. Hard or easy?
Oh,
that
you
one.
know what? That one was different because it was.
Because there's different kinds. Sometimes they're hard. Sometimes they're not.
Bad after I started dating. And then here comes the custody battle.
Right.
Now I want the kids. And I'm like, really? So it was quite an interesting time for me. And this went on for about 2 years, so.
Typical.
Yeah. So,
typical.
Yeah.
So it all works out.
It all works out.
You're now 31.
Married.
Huh?
Now married again.
Again? Wait, hold on.
Very fast. Within the year, I got married again.
So this person just appeared?
Yes.
While you're going through the divorce?
Well, it was already done pretty much. Yeah, at the time.
Okay. So you find this other guy.
And a little youngin.
And what did he have that was so attractive?
He had he's raised by both his parents, which I loved. His family amazing. He's from Carolina too. And, he's just a really good guy. Like the things that I didn't get from my last relationship, I got the romance here. I got the flowers, the bath, the petals and rose petals and dates and all this great stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're still searching for perfection.
Well.
Or as close as you can find.
I did, and it felt great. At the time.
Right.
Yeah.
So fast forward now.
money starts coming in, and it starts coming in fast.
How did money start coming in?
So I started my network marketing business then.
So when did you? So how long ago now?
So it's been 8 years.
Okay.
Yep, almost 9.
8 years.
Almost 9.
How many companies in the 8 years? One company.
Yep.
So you find a company.
Yep.
And how are you? Tell me about the introduction.
Yeah. So so crazy. One of my best friends, she wanted me to take a look at something, which was an opportunity in the network marketing space. So I went with her, and I was like, "Oh, this is great! I love it." She didn't sign up. She didn't do it. So I had to find somebody to sign up under. So I'm just online, and I see this gentleman, and he's I guess I just started following people that were in the company. And he was eating lunch in the middle of the day with his daughter, and I'm like, I want to do that. Just a week prior, my daughter was like, why don't you ever come eat lunch with us? And it broke my heart because I couldn't. I didn't have the time to do so. I had like an hour and a half one-way commute to work. So 3 hours out of my day, I'm in traffic. So it made no sense. And so I reached out to him online. I went in his DMs, as he always said, I slid in his DMs. So I was like, hey, can you tell me, what is it that you do? And the first thing he said was, who sent you? Because they were in the middle of a transition from a different company at the time. And I was like, no, I just saw you, blah, blah, blah. So we got on the phone, and he told me all about it. And I was like, I'm in. Yeah.
So, and what was your new husband doing at the time?
You know what? Nothing, because he had before I met him, he was playing baseball in the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
And so he was not doing really anything at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and you
like
were
maybe
still,
coaching jobs.
You were still working in the veterinarian?
Now
space?
I was in corporate America.
Ah.
Yeah. I went from massage therapist to corporate America.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. So bounce around like you do when you're young.
Absolutely. Yep.
And so you find this thing. So what does your husband think of you joining this network marketing company?
He was all in at first.
Okay.
Yeah. It was great. He got to meet, the top men in the company. They had a conversation with him, and he got on board with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you start building.
Yep.
And did you find out that, was it easy for you at the beginning? Was it hard for you at the beginning? Was there struggle? Was there...
They called me ignorance on fire is what they called me. The company called me. I was doing so much, so fast, and a lot of stuff that was incorrect when I started.
Why were you so ambitious?
Because I was broke.
Ah.
Yeah, I was bringing home $2,200 a month at the time, and I was the breadwinner.
Yeah, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Right before, 3-4 years before pandemic.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So the only breadwinner, $2,200.
And how many kids at the time?
Now it
would be 3?
Yeah. And then I got pregnant.
Right.
Right. So he was the only child. So of course I'm going to give him a baby. He's the only child. And so yeah, the baby came. And I knew that I could not go back to work because I would not be able to afford daycare.
Mm-hmm. That's a trap, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. So while I was pregnant, I had sticky notes on my desk, and I wrote everybody who I owed. So I put it with the highest interest rate first. Mm-hmm. And I knew that if I was going to bring myself home, I had to pay off all my debt first. So as the money was coming in from the network marketing, I was acting like I was still broke and paying that debt off.
Smart.
So by the time my maternity leave came, I never came back to work.
Right.
At that time.
How long did it take to get the debts paid off?
Through my pregnancy. So about 9 months.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
A lot of people take their whole life.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't have so much of it. Student loans, I was just like, Sally Mae will get hers.
Some people sit with student loans for 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah. So
you get your student loans taken care of. How much you make that first year?
My first year, I did $100,000.
$100,000.
My first year.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you still felt broke probably.
Well, because I'm now, still.
Plus you're paying the bills, plus taxes,
exactly.
plus
all of that,
expenses,
all
going
this
to
stuff.
events,
yeah.
Paying for products.
Everything. Exactly. Everything.
Doing all the stuff.
All the stuff.
But you're probably a big shot now, a little bit in the company.
Yeah, because I did, I ranked up 3 times in like a year,
Yeah.
in some couple of months.
Yeah. So you're a
Yeah.
rising star, big story.
Right. Yep. They
Yeah.
called me the Beyonce of the, I would get all the awards at the convention. You know, there was like, she's
got all the
Beyonce of
awards,
yeah.
standing up on stage with all the awards and trophies.
Yeah. Right.
Fastest growing, most recruits.
Yeah.
Most
all
customers.
That. Yeah.
You know, but yeah, the brightest shining star.
Yeah.
Well, it's fun to kind of get that kind of recognition.
Yeah. It felt great. It felt great.
Yeah. Had you ever gotten recognition like that before?
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
So it's a little unusual, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
You go back to your table, you go back to your seat, and you're like,
yeah, right.
Everybody's looking at you.
Everybody's looking at me. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. So walk me through your path from then till now.
Yeah. So
that's your network marketing journey.
Yeah. So from then till now. So I was, like I said, I made 100,000 my first year, $250,000 my second year. Third year, $500,000. And during the pandemic, I became 5 years later a millionaire. Yeah. Yeah.
Went crazy. Now, for most people, during pandemic, there was like an artificial boost of income. People went to their all-time highs because everybody was at home looking for a way to work from home.
Right.
And then after pandemic, in most companies, there was a little bit of a dip. You know, it's like people got a little tired of Zooms and they forgot how to work and they wanted to sit at home and nobody wanted to go, you know, get in front of another human being.
Right.
Did that happen for you, or did you kind of keep growing through it?
Well, the thing about me, I was
or your company, I should say.
Yeah, I actually was the one at first that they were like, it's not going to work doing it your way. I was doing a lot of online stuff.
A lot of Zooms, yeah.
And I remember I'm such an introvert that I took a year off from events and meetings.
Really?
And I kept ranking up. And it didn't look good for other people.
You're doing it all online, on social and Zoom and FaceTime, things like that?
And other people, what was happening was other people in the company thought they could do it and couldn't. So they were seeing me doing it successfully. And they're like, well, let me not go to the events and meetings. So other people started doing that too. But I would have been a millionaire had I still been attending, I feel like, the events earlier.
Yeah, I think everybody realized, and I tried to have conversations with people early, that it's a blend, and it always will be.
Exactly.
And that was a bubble. The pandemic season was a bubble.
Yeah. And
the blend is use technology to reach more people.
Absolutely.
But then get face to face with them.
Yeah. Belly to belly.
If you can.
Yeah.
Break bread, get to know each other, build trust.
Yeah.
Transfer belief.
Right.
Build friendships.
Yep.
People, it's a way stickier. People don't leave their friends.
Right.
They work together. So ultimately you found a balance.
So I was able to still do what I was already doing.
Mm-hmm.
But the craziest thing is everybody was freaking out because of the pandemic. And so I actually did the most traveling and was still doing events, and everybody had their mask on and we had to separate people at these. So while everybody was freaking out, I was flying all over the place. There were some times where there's like 3 people on the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah. So during the whole pandemic, I was everywhere.
Smart.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah.
So how many on your team did the same?
It was a lot of us doing it. There was this one leg of business that I had that it was majority us, because a lot of them were scared to move around.
Yeah.
So, but that leg of business was big enough. So, it was pretty much that me and that leg of business kind of going everywhere with these events.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, if you take a look at the company's trajectory, was probably early stage when you got involved. Yeah.
Yeah. They had just started a month prior.
Okay. So early stage, and then they grow.
Yeah.
Then they have a big spike.
Yep.
And then it probably settles down a little bit after pandemic. And now it's probably grown again.
Exactly.
Okay. What happens in your personal life in these 8 years?
So in my personal life, and within those 8 years, I'm moving. I'm in
Yeah.
movement. I'm moving all around.
Yeah.
And so, when people always talk about balance, I was like, there's no such thing as balance.
Right.
Sometimes you're going to be a better mom at that moment than you are a businesswoman. Sometimes you're going to be a better businesswoman at that moment than a mom, a wife, whatever. So I had to prioritize things accordingly. So it was me just moving. Of course, that kind of does stuff to a marriage. Our company decided to separate the couples. So whatever the rank was, now the other spouse will have that rank and the other spouse will have whatever rank they was. So that created friction almost immediately within my household.
So he couldn't ride off of your distributorship. He had to build off his own.
Right. Well, she was on already, but it's the acknowledgement of now it's Natalie Graham
versus Power Couple. Or
right. So it was like a separate entity now. Yeah.
So that created some friction.
Yeah.
So I'm getting the vibe that things didn't work out.
No, it did not work out.
Yeah.
So
when did that end?
This year.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's fresh.
Yeah.
And you're good with a smile on your face. It's okay.
I watched the movie that I've watched so many times called Eat, Pray, Love.
Yeah.
And it got an aha moment. And I remember saying to him, I don't want to be married anymore.
And what was his response?
I really don't recall, because at that time there was friction there in that era too.
Yeah.
So there's so much power in a made up mind. My mind was already made up. So it was a lot of frustration, on his end, because now you're going to have to figure a lot of things out.
Right.
The great part that I love, because a lot of people are like, you built this business. I built him up to 3 ranks to making over 100,000 in our company.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm good with that, because I don't want the 7-year-old that we have together to have a alternative lifestyle when she's over there. I want her to still have the same kind of,
So
space.
he's still building in the business.
No, but
he still has the distributorship.
But he still, absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course, yes.
And like I say, things don't work out. It's not about good or bad. It's just,
right.
It's about choices sometimes.
Exactly.
It's about seasons sometimes.
Yep.
So I try not to judge. People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Right?
Right.
So through this period of time, I'm super curious. What do you think in building your business now? How many people do you have on your team?
Over 26,000.
26,000 people on the team. You're expanding around the world.
Mm-hmm.
People are having fun.
Yes.
You have a nice brand.
Yes.
It's kind of a sparkly group.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And how much of it is female? Because all I know, I've met a few guys.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of the powerful people in the company, for whatever reason, is female. Is that accurate?
That is accurate. So I would say about 95 to 96% are women in our company. Yeah.
Wow. And as a Black woman, what's the racial mix?
Well, because it was founded by a Black man, it's quite, in the beginning, it was a lot. But now, since we branched off into Europe, it's starting to kind of balance itself out now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So would you say it's 50%?
I would say probably about 65% African American. And then European.
Okay.
On the opposite. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I know some of your British.
Yeah.
Gals.
British. Natalie.
Natalie. And Leah.
Leah.
The fancy posh.
Yes.
Sparkly leaders.
Yes.
So what do you think is your superpower? What do you think separated you from other people that joined same day you did, or other people that had the same opportunity you did? Yeah. What caused you to be a 7-figure earner when some of them are 6-figure earners, or some of them are started for 3 or 6 months and then stopped?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
You know what? I never quit. I was very consistent. I see a lot of people slow down, they'll start and
What does
stop.
consistent look like to you?
I work my business every day.
So
Every day.
tell me give me a daily method of operation.
So now, or like when I started?
Well, I like a little of both.
A little both. Okay, so like in the very beginning, because I worked corporate, I was going through that custody battle that came out of nowhere. I was in school full time, and I was only in school at the time to get the financial aid check, to help me in that little portion. So my daily method of operation then was different. I had to bring myself home. So that was the goal. So I really became a weekend warrior. So on the weekends, I went really hard on my business. So that looked like me doing a lot of 3-ways, doing Zooms, doing lives, and travel. Oh, you gotta say that.
Yeah. Sure.
Oh, travel parties, in-home parties.
Yeah, it's fine. Just so you know, she's in the travel business.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's
I'm
okay.
like,
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. So, that was the bulk of it. And during my lunch break, I would do the same thing. I would listen to, I had an aha moment with one of your conversations with a young lady named Whitney Husband.
Sure.
And I saw that, and that's when I would start doing these online parties. Because I was like, she's a little country girl.
Yep.
Like me. And I was like, my aha moment was when she said, I just did a lot of these online parties. And I'm like, online parties. So I start doing those. And it's so crazy because I believe in working smarter, not harder. And I was actually working hard in the beginning. Every hour I would do these parties online until I came up with the idea. I was like, why am I doing this? Why don't I just put it in a group, do it one time, and just bring everybody in a group and tag them up underneath it? And so that's what I did. I started doing it that way. In between,
So
like
this
just
is a personal
crevices.
group? Like an ad tag message type of a
Just
thing?
Facebook group.
Okay, so you created a Facebook group. You put your best stuff in there, and then when you went to reach out to people, you just added them to the group.
Exactly.
Tagged them to the video.
Yeah, and all of my team are in there, so they were adding their people as well, and would tag them up under. So we still have that same group to this day.
Yeah.
The information changes, so
Sure,
we'll go in there and switch it up. But yeah, that's what we did. So.
Hey there, just a quick interruption, especially for network marketers. Whether you're just starting out or if you're ready to level up, GoPro Academy has just what you need to take your network marketing business to the next level. Get step-by-step training on how to get started or restarted the right way, and then get everything you need to earn 6 figures or more and become a network marketing pro. To learn more, just visit goproacademy.com. I've helped millions of people learn how to recruit, tens of thousands of people to reach 6 figures, and I've personally helped more than 1,000 people achieve 7-figure incomes and above in network marketing. I can help you too. Head to goproacademy.com today, and I'll see you there.
Now, with a team of over 26,000, I love the fact that the duplication is there. I have amazing leaders. One of my other superpowers is leading with love. I've created a culture and a community of family. So, we do a lot of stuff together, even when it's not just business. So like I was telling you, I'm at my home tomorrow, we're doing a splash bash, with the team coming over and just building that culture and community where people don't.
Having fun.
Yeah. They feel warm and cozy and they don't want to leave. So, the retention rate is not high. I mean,
Yeah, it is high.
I mean, it is high. My attrition rate is not high.
Right.
My retention rate is low because of that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so hard work, innovation,
Yes.
paying attention to what other people are doing,
Right.
right? Having fun, building culture, leading with love.
Following the goats of every industry.
Yeah. And what else made you special, do you think?
Another thing, spending time with my people. But while everybody else was complaining, I believe my whole motto is there are no problems, only solutions. So I have a hashtag that everybody's always talking about called figure that ish out. Like just figure it out. Like life is going to life, but did you die? Okay, well you didn't. So keep going. So I never make excuses. I don't make them. I don't take them, so I don't make them. And so that's another thing that's a little different about me. Things don't bother me too much,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
If an opportunity or if a challenge shows up, you view it as an opportunity.
absolutely.
And off you go.
That's it.
And you've taught your people to do the same thing.
Exactly. Well, mindset is something that I have to help people with initially because everybody doesn't have that mindset of tenacity.
Sure.
A lot of people give up when things get hard.
Yeah.
And,
most people think like employees. Yeah.
Absolutely. Especially, I always tell people, don't introduce me with your excuses. Somebody will come up to me, I'm a single mom of 3. I said, well, my best friend is making $250,000 in this company and she has 3 special needs children. They cannot speak. They cannot, they can't do anything. Right. And she's a single mother. So I can't, what are you saying? That's not a handicap. I don't know why people say I'm a single mom like it's a handicap.
Well, it's not a handicap, but I do admire single moms.
Yeah.
Because it's harder.
Right. Exactly.
To be able to be everything to everybody.
Exactly.
I think they're kind of superheroes in my mind because as a single dad, I without help.
Yeah.
I mean, some that work 2 and 3 jobs, I'm impressed.
Right.
Not that it should be a reason.
Right. Exactly.
For your lack of success.
I think that they should transfer.
Yeah. Sometimes that it becomes their identity.
Exactly.
Right. And that can become dangerous.
Right. Exactly.
If it's their identity.
Exactly.
Tell me the hardest thing you had to go through in building your network marketing business. What was the most difficult season that you had? And what did you do to get out of that difficult season?
Okay. Well, I told you they called me ignorance on fire. So in the very beginning, I got a letter of cease and desist from the company that we were partnered with. And it freaked me out.
And why?
Because I did something that wasn't compliant.
So you were like,
and I didn't know.
You were overstating something?
No, I actually I was taking out the middleman and then paying my people. So we were partnered with someone and the checks would come.
A service provider?
Yep, the checks would come to me and then I would distribute the checks.
Got it.
Right. I didn't know that was wrong.
Right.
I knew then that it was wrong. So it kind of was like, oh, well, I'm kind of afraid to like really even do like
So you get this letter. So how'd you deal with it?
Well, I had to comply, of course.
Right.
And that's when I stopped going to all of the meetings and stuff like that. I kind of just chilled out. Yeah. Because now I was starting not to trust people.
You feel like you're a black sheep or something a little bit?
Yeah. I didn't know who to trust at that time because.
Why? Because somebody ratted you out?
Yeah, there were people, right, at the time. And there were people who could have come to me and told me, and then I would have.
And they didn't.
No, right.
They saw you rising and they wanted to pull you down.
Absolutely. And so I'm like, you know what? I don't like that bad energy. So I'm just going to stay home.
So what happens when trust is lost?
Yes.
How do you learn how to operate in a world when you're looking at everybody through a filter? Can I trust this person? Can I not trust this person? How'd you get to the other side of that?
So you can't piss off a champion. And there are certain things that I learned it was certain individuals. And so I'm like, you know what? Success is going to be my revenge. And so during that time, I just kept going hard behind the scenes.
So did you have a list?
I did.
You had a list of people that you were going to show them?
And I did.
How long was the list?
It wasn't very long. It was like a handful.
Yeah, but they're going to eat their words.
They're going to eat their words.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, all right. So you complied.
Yep.
You made some changes.
Yep.
You learned from the mistake.
I did.
It was an honest mistake.
Yep.
And there's a season I had as well where I was a fighter. And that was probably what most defined me. Is fighting.
Right.
If I had an enemy, then I had a mission.
Right, exactly.
Right? So it's good fuel.
Right, exactly.
But for me, the fuel, if you fight a lot and you win a lot,
right,
there's a lot of losers.
Right.
And if there's a lot of losers in your wake behind you, there's always a little drama.
Right.
So I got tired of the drama.
Right.
So I just decided, you know what? I'm done fighting.
Right.
You were a useful tool for me
Yeah. Right.
to prove you wrong, prove other people right. Thank you for that tool. Thank you for letting me use your name in my brain to be able to cause me to do things I didn't want to do.
Right.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
But now I'm going to let that go.
Right.
I'm not going to let you rent space in my head anymore.
Exactly. Yep.
And I'm going to try and be a giver with as healthy as boundaries as possible.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody does me wrong,
yep,
I'll forgive, but I'm not going to forget.
Absolutely.
They're not going to have as close access to me
exactly
as they would have if they treated me right.
Absolutely.
And they'll feel it. They'll feel the difference.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
I learned that having access to me was a privilege.
That part.
And
yeah,
I was going to reward the people who did the right things. Not that I was any big shot, but if you wanted to spend any time with me,
I'm the same.
You had to treat me right.
Yeah, that's right.
And it didn't take much of treating me wrong.
Oh yeah.
I mean, for me, the thing that triggers me is if somebody doesn't have my back, or if they talk shit behind me, behind my back.
Yes.
You go into a different category.
Absolutely.
I mean, if the situation gets tough and you don't have my back,
right,
I'll remember a long time.
Absolutely.
And it's going to take a long time for you to get back into the good graces, and that's okay.
Even if you get there,
ever. I learned to be unemotional about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Just like, oh, yeah, you showed me who you were. Got it. You're over here now.
Exactly.
You're out in this part of the orbit. You're in this other galaxy now.
Absolutely. My disconnect game is very strong.
Yeah, and or cordial, nice.
Yeah.
Professional.
Absolutely.
Because there's people probably at your similar rank or same rank that have treated you dirty at some point that you're going to have to see them at incentive trips and events and stuff. So you always be nice and you kill them with kindness.
Absolutely.
But you're not inviting them back to the room for the party afterwards.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So, okay. So that's a good lesson to be able to kind of get past that and learn how to trust again with boundaries.
Right.
Have some healthy boundaries.
Exactly.
When you think you're through your journey, what's the highest point that you can think of?
The highest point
when you were happiest or most proud or
now,
right this moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's because the people who are winning, I got to see my girl get her $500,000, ring and Rolex on stage. And I'm like, that feels good.
Yeah. Knowing that you're a part of the story.
Exactly.
Take you out and she's probably not there.
Right.
You never put it in anybody else's face.
Exactly.
But contribution is very, very rewarding, isn't it?
Absolutely. And now I really judge my success about how successful those are, the people who are connected to me.
Yeah.
I was telling somebody this week, there's this movie with Cicely Tyson. I think it's a Tyler Perry movie. And she's sitting on the porch in her rocking chair looking at all her grands and great-great-grands. And she's just smiling. Like it makes me feel good to see everybody coming behind me and they're winning too.
They're winning too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
What's next for you? Fast forward 5 years.
I need real estate. I need land. That's what I need. I will be single.
You will?
I don't need to be distracted while I'm still building my
life. I would tell you, can I say something to you as a person who's older than you?
Absolutely.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
Don't close your mind to it.
Stormy told me that while she was here.
Like I will be single.
Yeah.
Don't close your mind to it because you just don't know.
Yeah.
I understand it's fresh.
It is.
I understand, and I'm not telling you what to do.
Yeah, no.
What I'm saying is, if you keep your heart open, but your eyes open at the same time,
right,
and make sure you don't repeat the same mistakes as you've made in the past,
right,
like I have a million times. You just never know.
Yeah,
you never know. I mean, I'll give you an opinion that might be controversial. But I'll tell you the saddest thing in the world for me is a powerful woman in network marketing who does one of two things. Says, one, I'm just going to be single because all these guys do is disappoint me, and it's not fun, and it's not worth it, and nope, not doing it.
Right.
That's one part that makes me a little bit sad. The other part that makes me sad, and really makes me sad, is when they settle because they can't find a stronger man because they're too strong for their men.
Right. Yeah.
And they settle for a weak man.
Right. Right. Yeah.
That'll just support them.
Right.
Carry their luggage, love them.
Right.
You know, take care of traditions and help with the family and all that stuff.
I need an alpha man
It needs to be super alpha.
To handle this firecracker.
It needs to be super alpha.
Yeah.
And I could list off 10 women that are icons.
Yeah.
That settled for weaker men.
Yeah.
And a little piece of them, I look at it and I go, huh.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, what I want for them.
Right.
Is.
Exactly.
Somebody who's got the strength.
Exactly.
To be able for her to be as powerful as she could ever be.
Yes.
And still feel safe with him.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
You know, and respect.
Exactly.
And have mutual respect.
Exactly.
Because I think maybe your limiting belief right now is that just doesn't exist. That's a unicorn. I'm too powerful.
Well, I feel like it does exist.
Does it?
I do feel like it does exist.
But like I say, it's fresh. You're doing this right now.
Fresh.
It's fresh. So it's okay for you to have a season. Say, you know what?
It's so much.
I'm gonna be single.
Right
I'm gonna have some fun. I'm gonna enjoy myself.
Yeah.
I've got all the options in the world.
Yeah.
I can go anywhere I want. I can do whatever I want. Not a lot of people can do that.
Not have to answer to anybody.
I don't have to answer to anybody.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah, good feeling. So I don't judge it at all. All I'm saying is you never know. Lightning can strike.
Okay.
But if lightning strikes and your heart is closed.
Right.
Then you'll never notice.
I totally agree. That's all. I love that. That is very.
That's all.
That's great.
Just something to
advice.
think about.
No, that's great advice.
Think about it, but don't you dare settle.
I will never.
If you settle, I'm going to come find you.
Please do.
I'm coming to Atlanta and I'll slap you.
Please do all of that. All of the above.
And say, wake up, woman. Don't you dare.
That's an imposter. It would be an imposter if I settle.
Yeah, well, you never know. You just never know.
Maybe AI generated. I don't know.
The AI generated, right? Yeah, maybe. What advice do you have for people who are out there, whether they're going through struggle or they're trying to find their way, they're raising a family, dealing with distractions, and they want to change their life. They found a network marketing company they believe in. What advice do you have for them in order to be able to take full advantage of the situation and feel good about it along the way? Because a lot of women deal with a lot of mom guilt and a lot of relationship guilt and like, should I just be the happy little housewife,
right?
Or should I be the powerhouse that I am?
Yeah.
Is it okay for me to be that? What advice do you have for somebody who feels like there's more and they don't quite know how to get there?
Right. I always tell people when you're going through hell, keep going. You don't stop in the middle of the fire. You trying to get up out of there. So, like you said with the women, I do see them saying things like, "Oh, I gotta leave the kids," or "I gotta go." But what I found is that the sacrifices that I made by being away, right? Mommy, why are you going again? But now you get a first class trip, all of y'all, to London where y'all get to lay on the beds and then Christmas last year, you get to pick out all of the toys that you want from the store. That's your so the sacrifices,
They've
the rewards that
they've realized as they get older, they get to see
yeah,
it, they get to participate with it.
yeah, this is why mommy, hard so that so that she could provide these things that we have, the schools and the area and those things, so they appreciate that. And your kids are watching.
Oh yeah.
And I always tell people, don't expect your children to be A and B children and you're being a C or D parent. We're born, looking like our parents, but we die looking like our choices. And you have every day you get to put on the fear of the faith shirt. And every day I'm going to put that faith on, no matter what my circumstances look like. I've always visualized myself in the future and what it would look like. It's so much power in the subconscious mind. And I think more people need to learn about the power that's in the subconscious mind. I read a book by John Kehoe years ago that changed my entire life. And people typically look at the circumstances at hand and they don't feel like there's a way out. But the thing is to not give up. You just, see yourself and start doing things to put yourself in places. Start changing your environments. Even as an introvert, I had to get out there and network, right? Can't call it network marketing. You're not networking.
Right.
And I always tell people, the person that introverts typically talk to the most at parties is the bartender, because they're sitting there and they're not really networking, but they're at the event. So, get yourself out there, start just having casual conversations with people, building your Rolodex of, people, because a lot of times people don't leave out of their comfort zone. And so leaving out of my comfort zone was the biggest thing for me, getting out of the house, just getting out of the house, letting people know who you are.
I saw something, I spoke at an event this last weekend and I heard this analogy and I'm not sure if it's true. I've yet to look it up, but I like the analogy that when a storm comes, and you tell me this, if this is true, if you've ever noticed that living on the farm, when a storm comes, the cows run away, but the bulls run towards the storm because the bulls are like charging the storm.
I never knew that.
Because that way they're going to get through the storm faster.
Wow.
And the cows that run away always have the storm chasing them.
Wow, I've never heard that.
So,
and I happen to live in front of cows and bulls.
Yeah, so you're going to have to, the next time there's a storm, you have to let me know. But whether or not that analogy's real, that story's real, I like the thought.
I love
the thought of, when you're in hell, find yourself in hell, keep going. Yeah. But turn into it.
Yeah.
Go into the struggle.
Weather the storm.
Face the struggle. Yeah. Run faster.
Exactly.
Like be a first responder or something that runs faster to the challenge versus running away.
Exactly.
From the challenge.
Yes.
I think that's good advice.
Yeah. Giving up is so easy.
You're gonna get through the storm faster if you run towards it.
Exactly.
Versus trying to run away.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, well, Natalie, I want to thank you for taking the time to come here.
Thank you for having me
and sharing your story. I'm sure it's the first of many that we'll be sharing together.
Yes.
And we'll be seeing beaches of the world together.
Absolutely.
As groups. We have some fun people.
Absolutely. Great energy.
Yeah. So keep up the good work.
Thank you.
One thing I've realized in the last 3 years is all of us are still playing in the kiddie games.
Exactly.
It's time for us to go to the next level.
Big leagues.
There's another level.
It is.
There's always another level.
Always another level.
And it's our job to find it.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Eric.
So that's my conversation with Natalie Graham. I hope you got value from it. If you did, if you know somebody else who is going through struggle, going through challenge, or having challenge to find them, maybe this is something you want to share with them. Maybe this story will give them some encouragement, maybe some strength when they didn't think they had some. We all have more in common than we do differences, for sure. And I hope these conversations give you that encouragement to be able to do things that you normally wouldn't do. Okay? So go out there, make your life amazing, and I'll see you next time.